It's time for the West Coast Swing Discord Sessions live Q&A. We're now a podcast available on Apple, Spotify and Google. You can also find us on our host, Spreaker. We're posting links in the Discord and where you can find it, and you'll also be able to rewatch this a few days later after it's finished. Also, huge warm welcome to everyone who's now tuned in via YouTube and Facebook. So let's introduce this month's session. And yes, we've got five top West Coast swing dancers that are willing to answer your questions tonight. A top moderating team in Topi, Andreas and myself. And of course, Yuval, who you know as the YWO Westie, asking the questions to our guests from our wonderful community, which are tuned in. Lots of you tonight, but looks of it on Discord as well. So some quick rules before we start. Number one, this is an audio only session. I think we can all agree now the novelty of Zoom, Google Meets, Skype has completely worn off. So don't worry about webcams. Have a paint, have some dinner, put us on in the background and enjoy the show. Two, please make sure you keep this chat free of politics. That's a West Coast Swing and every other flavour. I'm sure there's plenty of places you can find that. Also, you can ask questions via text or voice in Discord. You can also ask via YouTube or Facebook. If you're asking a question, because the chat can get busy on all the three channels, just put the word question before it. And if you want to use your voice as well, just tell us you want to ask a question on voice so we know. Then one of the moderating team can find it, check it and send it off to Yuval. There's also two parts to this Q&A. The first part should be around an hour, and we can take about a one-song break after that, and the second part should be around 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how the conversation pans out. And five, we have to say this now, if you do misbehave or decide to be completely stupid, one of the team will kick you immediately from the Discord. No questions asked. But I'm sure you're going to behave yourself, maybe except Phoenix. It's time for me to get this show on the road and introduce your host, Mr. Yuval Yaary.
Thank you so much, Justin. And thank you everyone for your support and for joining us. That's like insane for me to see how many people logged into Discord now and how many people are watching us on all channels. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful that we can do that for the community. And thank you to our wonderful guests. Let's introduce them, give them a warm welcome. First, we have Larisa Tingle.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Larisa, thank you for joining. We have with us Phoenix, king of Starbucks names, Gray.
I made it. I'm here.
Yeah, thank you for waking up so early, Phoenix.
The struggle is real.
We have Tessa, master of puppets, Antolini.
How you doing, everybody?
Yeah.
I'm here to play the comic second to Phoenix. It's my job.
Yeah, but only second to Phoenix, because I think topping Phoenix would be... Oof.
I don't even try, boo. Don't even try.
And we have Brawley, the crowd favorite, Adjavon.
Oh, well, hello everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Salut tout le monde.
Hello, Browley. Thank you very much for being here with us. And
Thanks for
we
having
have Jesse, Mr. Zen Lopez.
I am nothing but grounding, guys. Good to see you. Good to be here. Woe I need to all my friends. I miss you. I love you. I can't wait to dance with you guys again.
Thank you very much, Jesse. Thank you all for joining us. Let's start with some introduction. Larisa, would you like to start and introduce yourself? Tell the audience a bit about you and your West Coast swing career.
Sure. Where do I start? So I've been dancing for over 10 years, 10 or 11 at this point. I'm also an architect, so dancing is like my second thing. I'm an architect first, which I still do. It's not, I didn't quit just to dance.
Have you ever planned a dance studio?
I mean, I own a dance studio in Starlight Dance in San Diego. So
But you never planned as an architect, I meant.
Oh, you mean designed one? So I actually did my thesis project when I went back to grad school, was actually specifically for West Coast and dance, because I studied like the psychologic stuff and like physiological stuff that like how our bodies react in space, how we perceive space through motion. So I actually did a whole thesis project on dancing in a building and how the building can help you dance better. So maybe someday I'll get to use it somewhere.
Wow, that's super cool. Yeah, and tell about your dance studio that you own.
So it's in San Diego. It's called Starlight Dance. It's been there for 38 years, I believe. So next year, trying to host like a big 40-year anniversary thing. And it's like a lot of our West Coast champs have come through there. A lot of people came and studied with Michael Kim, the original owner, like Jordan and Todd and Justin Parker, and like who else? Kilbasa came through there.
Nice.
There's a lot of people who came and studied under Michael Kim out of Starlight over the years. So it's one of like our special like monuments to this dance. So I'm very lucky to have taken it over from Michael Kim.
Oh, that's really cool. You must be honored.
I am. I love it. It's a lot of work, but I love it to death. That place is my home.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I hope it's. Did you already open again?
We opened 2 weeks ago after being closed for the whole year.
Oh. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, really, really great to be open again.
Definitely. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy that you made it. That's super important
We
in the community.
survived. It was a really hard year.
Sure. Wow, definitely. Let's move on to our next guest. Tessa, would you like to go next?
Sure. Well, I'm Tessa, and I live on the eastern side of the United States, and I'm based in Boston, and have spent most of my life here. I started dancing when I was 4, and my mother, at the time, put me in a modern dance class rather than ballet because that was super cool. So my first dance performance ever, I was a dolphin and got to move myself to music in whatever way a dolphin wants to. And I kind of feel like I probably haven't matured past that dolphin stage, to be honest.
Well, Tessa, I think that's something now everyone will remember.
Exactly. Whenever you watch me do a body roll, it's my dolphin roll, everyone. And then dancing is my second career. It's always been my hobby, but I was an actress first, and that's what my degrees are in. And I did that in London, Los Angeles, and New York City before dance stole my heart away. And I turned down my last audition was for a Martin Scorsese thing at the same time as a dance competition. I had to choose between the two, and I chose dance. And that's the end of the story. That's what leads me to being where I am right now.
Well, lucky us that you chose dance.
Lucky me. Are you kidding? I wouldn't go back to acting now if you paid me.
6 digits in a car.
Yeah, West Coast swing can provide a good living too. It's good enough.
Well, no, but we're not selling you. We're not giving you away, Tessa. You're staying with
Yeah, I was
us.
gonna say, what car do you drive, Yuval? Let's discuss.
Actually, I don't drive a car currently.
Then you
So
have
thank-
nothing to negotiate with, boo.
Shit.
Justin, you got something for me?
I run a Volkswagen and a Mini Cooper. I run 2 cars.
Oh,
yeah,
a
I
rich
don't
guy.
know. I have bad history with Mini Coopers, but that's another story.
Okay. Phoenix, do you want to go next?
There we go. I unmuted. Yes, I absolutely can go next. So, where I started, I discovered dancing when I was 18. It was New Student Week at the university I went to. And they just had rec clubs that were like, hey, we're doing, dance stuff. What do you want to do? And I was like, okay, cool. They actually netted me in with like, what kind of music do you listen to? Which is such a trap question because if you say anything, it's like, oh, that's West Coast swing.
And that's how I ended. The
Instead,
rest
like,
is
oh, I listen
history.
to salsa music. So, I mean, salsa music is great. I'm not knocking it. But yeah, so
Except
I
for the fact
started
that he
in
knows what's the
2010,
name, like what
about
to
10 or
say.
11 years ago. And I don't know, I caught the bug and I was dancing just all the time. Then I started competing and I just fell into it. It was my life. Were there more on the question? I'm sorry, I'm super ADD.
It's okay. We're happy that you fell into it. That's very. We're very lucky to have you in our community, Phoenix.
I love being here.
Brawley, do you want to go next?
Sure. Do I have a choice? Huh, just kidding. Um, So, Brawley, that's my name. And where do I want to start with? Well, I am from Togo and Portugal, and I was born in Russia. Just why do I precise this? And I live in France, which is also my nationality. Why do I say that? Because I've been traveling a lot in my youth when I was younger, and this is also what made me who I am. And so interesting to hear all these different backgrounds from the others. Very, very interesting to hear all of that. And as far as I'm concerned, I started with something totally different also. I started with civil engineering. I'm a civil engineer, and I stopped in 2011. 2011, and while I was doing all of that, I had started with ballroom dancing, but just for fun. And then I did some salsa, and I met West Coast Swing 2008. But one back here, it was really new in Strasbourg, and so it was like a workshop every year. So didn't really, I liked it, but and then
Do you
2011
remember
when I
your first workshop?
first workshop was actually with Anne and with Francois and Nathalie, which were actually two people from Strasbourg who had gone to an event in the south of France in Sun and Swing. And who
Nice.
had met, Jordan, Tatiana, and all this bunch of people, these champions and all, and just like, you have to see this. So it was like, yeah, interesting, but we can't really dance that much here. So, well, it lasted like 3 years, and then stopped my job and had another workshop. And that time was Colin Sarah, who came to Strasbourg, and was like, okay, met someone, Melanie Stocker, who actually asked me, do you want to partner up? She's from Switzerland, someone who took care of me for 2 years, introducing me to what it is to be teaching this dance, what this dance was about. And then from then, I took that time to actually go into something I love, which is sharing and learning every day, and afterwards just using all possibilities to travel and meet people and learn about the dance. And here I am today, having the chance to be actually talking with you. And yeah, missing all the people that I've met. And yeah, so it's a change from engineering to this, but it's about people and experiencing and sharing, and that's what I love about that dance. And not just that dance. I'm sorry, I'm not just a Western freak, but just dancing in general. Dancing.
Definitely.
So that's about me.
It sounds like you have a really interesting life, an interesting background, Rowley.
This is
Well,
what
like
happens when
everybody.
you interview older people. We're just old, and it makes life sound interesting.
Oh, don't
Oh my God,
start.
Tessa! I mean, you're not wrong.
Exactly that. Exactly, Tessa.
I
Exactly.
mean, the older you get, the more interesting it is talking about, like, oh, I went to Starbucks today.
No, that just doesn't. No, unless you tell them your story with the Starbucks names Phoenix,
Damn it.
the Order of the Phoenix. But wait, we can't skip Jesse. Jesse, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my friend, I would love to. My name is Jesse Lopez. I dance in Kansas City at the Viva Social Dance Studios. I've been so blessed to be a part of the KC community now and to have been introduced to West Coast Swing. That happened for me. Well, you see, I was a dramatic child. And
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
there are specific memories that I've been told of where I did whatever clumsy child thing and bumped my knee or my elbow and felt hurt, felt accosted in some way, and so there I
Okay.
fell in my pain on the floor and waited 10 minutes, 15 minutes until someone from my family would come and find me and be able to comfort my wounds, and then I'd pop back up and be fine and run away. So having had that sense of drama since I was young, I thought that meant I needed to do theater and was pursuing that collegiately. And in order to graduate, we needed 4 hours of PE credit, which is essentially one a year. And so I did 4 years of fencing, and that got me to 2 credits, so I needed 2 more, and they gave a full credit for taking a ballroom dance course, and I was like, well, that's still better than weightlifting. So I went over and did. Little did I know it would be lifting women by the end of it, but that's okay. I did a ballroom dancing course and was good enough to not feel bad about doing it. So then I went to a couple of social dances, and that turned into an internship that I had at the end of my senior year. The internship became a job, and I never had the opportunity to pursue anything else. I was in love with what I was doing. I had the opportunity to perform and teach and dialogue, connect with people, learn, grow myself, and it was amazing. So I've just stuck with it ever since.
Wow, so you never had any other job. You just started teaching dance and that's it.
Ooh, well, not quite. I had a lot of summer jobs. I've worked as a server in a restaurant. I was a lifeguard for 4 years.
A lifeguard. Wow.
Yeah, I've done odds and ends. I've taken care of 76 horses on my parents' farm, and was doing all of the lawn maintenance for all of the pastures and stuff. So I've done other versions of work, but my career has always been dance. I've been a full-time dance instructor now for 12 years. Ever since I graduated, that's been my full occupation.
Oh, that's so cool. Lucky you.
Lucky
That's
me. I do
amazing.
want to clarify. I've only been a professional dancer for like a year and a half, and most of that was over quarantine. A professional dancer and a professional teacher, I learned, is not the same thing, but I've been professionally teaching for 12 years. I'm working on becoming a professional dancer.
Well, Jesse, you are a professional dancer to us. And even more than that.
Now I kind of want to know what the distinction is. Maybe my business card is wrong.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to reprint mine too.
We're gonna be careful with anyone's feelings and allow it to be personal distinction of what
Oh,
you
nice,
think the line's
dude.
difference is.
Oh, Jesse,
Save.
Jesse for president. Good job.
See?
Snaps for Jesse.
Yeah. Okay, so we have our first question coming in already. How are things in everyone's community? Who wants to start?
Well, Tingle did just open 2 weeks ago, and freaking congratulations for getting Starlight back running again. I would love to hear how things are going, Larisa.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been pretty tricky. We started a bunch of classes, which are great, and everybody's back, and like we're following all the rules. So like, for the first week, we weren't allowing any rotations, and it was just classes. You come with like a partner or a friend or whatever. And then actually within the second
And
week,
with a mask?
with
Or is it
masks,
with
completely,
masks, yeah.
with
Mhm.
masks, with like temperature at the front desk, like we did all the things. In San Diego, we've been still in like levels of lockdown, or like
Okay.
various like tiers of how much we can open. Right now we're allowed I think 25% capacity. So so we're still really distanced and everything, but we're allowing like, and if anybody has the vaccine or feels comfortable or they aren't at risk or whatever and they want to rotate with some of the other comfortable people, we're allowing that. But other than that, like we're just being really safe and just happy to be back in classes. Right now, there's no social dancing happening anywhere. It feels a little too soon since the US just opened up vaccinations to the general public. It feels a little too soon to be like, all right, let's all get in a room and touch each other. So we're still keeping it pretty safe and cautious. But you know what? It's just freaking awesome to have people in the studio and alive, and everybody's coming out to support and just happy to be there. And so far, everybody's following all the guidelines. Like, it's really great, and I really appreciate everybody like snapping back to it and kind of just going along with like trying to do the right thing for everybody in general. And it's been really nice, actually. Last few weeks have been really great.
Yeah, that's amazing. That sounds incredible. I'm really happy for you.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Tingle, for sure. Did you feel like you had a return of the traditional community members, or is it a percentile of who would usually attend the classes?
It's actually been a really good mix of like a lot of the diehards. They're back, and I've actually gotten a bunch of new people who it's kind of funny, like during quarantine, I would get emails and messages and stuff all the time from people who were like, hey, we're stuck at home all the time, we're looking for something else to do, we thought maybe we could try dancing. So we've actually gotten a weird influx of new people who are just looking for something new to do. Which is unexpected. I didn't really see that one coming. So it's been nice. There's been a bunch of people like that, as well as all the diehards and familiar faces. And like, there's been people who have been coming to Starlight since like year one. So it's really cool to see them all back.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, that's really cool, because it's scary to lose people, right, in these times.
Oh yeah, I didn't know who was going to come back. The first day I hosted classes 2 weeks ago, I didn't know who was going to show up. I'm like, I really hope that there's classes tonight. And it was great. You're like, wonderful.
Yeah, and it's probably also a bit stressful, right? With all like how, I mean, maybe not stressful, but you're probably, I mean, you have to put a lot of work in order to make everyone feel safe and to make them feel like, you know, there are people with different safety levels, as you've stated before, that like some are feeling okay to switch, some are not. Like, you need to be very sensitive, right?
Yeah. Very. Yeah. It's actually been really tricky in my community. There's been a few other studios who were open sooner than I was, and were open off and on during various levels of quarantine and lockdown. And I pretty much stayed closed the whole time because it just didn't feel worth the risk. Like, I'm not gonna put people in a vulnerable place. It just didn't seem worth it. I chose to stay closed a little bit longer and be a little more strict. So far, like, no one has come through my doors and gotten sick, and I'm really proud to be able to say that. Like, I got some feedback from dancers who were impatient, not happy that I waited, but I think that for setting an example for the community at large, for just caring on a human level, it's more important. So that was how I chose to handle that. But other people chose to do different things, which is totally fine. Not judging them. It was just how I chose to handle my space and my people.
Okay. And Phoenix, how is it going in your place?
Well, in my place, the studio that I work at has more or less been closed for the past year. It's been floating itself off of. We had a kids kind of camp program over the summer last year, which eventually turned into just having 2 pods of kids. We had like a really super safe vector pod of kids, like 8 kids, and then another pod of like 8 kids in the 2 parts of the studio. So I've basically learned how to do childcare in the past year.
My.
I know. It's I'm being recorded, so I love it. It's great. But anyway, yeah, so like we've been doing that, and that's been keeping us afloat for the past year. And there was a brief period of time where I was able to open up in-person classes early, like before the November shutdown for us, I think. So I got a couple new students off of that, and then we had the shutdown. But I pulled in some diehards because they're back when we reopened again more recently. But yeah, the tricky part is just finding that balance that you want to be responsible for the community, but still give them the outlet. So like my format lately has been I'm capping classes at 3 couples, and there's no rotations, and you have to come with your own partner or whatever. Oh, turned off. Am I still here?
Yes.
I'm still
Yeah,
here.
you're still here.
Okay. But yeah, so I've been doing it really strict, and it's been tricky from that aspect because I've had a lot of people interested, but they just don't have a partner. So, it's finding your level of comfort and finding, like that's the way that I'm choosing to do it. And I had this whole plan for like a slow roll of like, I'm going to start out with these little small pods, and then over time, maybe the pods can mix within themselves, and eventually like that can turn into very, very small socials but I'm realizing that as time goes on, by the point that, I can just flip over into, okay, now we can rotate mode, like we're already going to be mostly out of the pandemic by that stage.
Phoenix,
Yeah.
this may not be the right point in the conversation where we can talk about these things, but I do want to throw out there the idea that because of the limited amount of conversation that we've been able to have as a community as to the means by which we could reopen, based on the levels of emotion and opinion and scare fear that's associated with what we've been going through as a community, with the trauma that we've been dealing with. It's been really hard to have conversations between community leaders about how we can reopen. But there are several stages that can like help the progression towards a social dance, for the emotional side of people knowing that it's safe, and for the business side of still allowing some of the spaces inside of classes to be filled, even if there are individual dancers who don't have a partnership available. So at some point, I'd love to be able to talk about those things so that we can continue growing the smaller communities as we come back from this.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be great.
I think we can do a short discussion about it now if you guys feel like it. I think it's something everyone would love to hear.
Well, if I may, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So being in France, we have it's very interesting to hear how you guys are living it. So what happened? So March 2019, we had just, what you have had, lockdown, total lockdown, so not allowed to do anything. And then I think it was about June where we were allowed again to do it. And I personally, so I teach locally and I have also events where I teach on weekends. But so with the local people, already the system is not the same. Here, mostly in France, what we have in the schools, we have memberships for, you take a half year membership or a full year membership. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so personally, what I decided was, even though we were allowed to, but because, well, for me, I didn't want to go, it's not the money that counts. It's more how, as some of you mentioned, emotionally, and also, with the fears and all of that, I just said, I'm not starting over until September.
Mm-hmm.
Some people wanted to, but I said, okay, I don't want to go into this because some people might want to do it but are scared to. Some others feel maybe might be forced to. Some people think that they want to, but actually they don't realize how scared they really are. They don't want to admit it. And I
Oh,
respect
wow.
all of that to really just make sure that, it's kind of like, why do you like dancing? Do you really like dancing, or you just do it because it was a habit also? So I personally
Mm.
decided not to do it again until September, and it was allowed to restart. And so I had people that signed in from last year's, and I had new people too. And some people, of course, were scared about, how is it going to happen. And legally, we had, of course, I followed all the rules, and we
Mm-hmm.
were supposed to have, so I had to change places to give the classes. I've had a friend who could have a bigger place so that there's enough space. And well, the rules, we had to put the masks on. People who wanted to rotate could, but the only thing was, it's either everybody rotates, or if even just one person is not feeling okay with that, then
Mm-hmm.
it was that, okay, we don't rotate and it's okay. And everybody was accepted that. Some actually at
Wow.
one point decided, okay, some of us don't want to rotate, but we still want to come. So they were on one part and we just rotated in between the other ones. And, with all the safety rules were respected. But at that time, so we could go on until beginning of November. And then again,
Mm-hmm.
we weren't allowed to give any classes. And so people, for the moment, they get refund for everything. But honestly, today we have more and more people wanting to start again. People are feeling more secure. And for instance,
Mm-hmm.
this year, if by May we can do it again, for example, this year, and like last year, I feel people are feeling more secure and really are feeling okay, even in terms of distances and everything. So I might probably start again in small groups. I don't have big groups anyway, but still respecting everybody's choice. And there's no like, you have to do it if the rest doesn't, if the rest does it. I mean, we respect everybody's choice. People who started that didn't want to continue because they were not used to the masks, doing some activities and all of that, they all had the choice to stop and cancel their whole year membership if they wanted to. That's the choice I
Nice.
made, so that they feel
That's
secure,
important.
that they're not investing money, and then maybe, and the guarantee that, unfortunately, if they stop, well, they stop and I refund them with what they haven't done, and I'm okay with it. And it was that contract of trust. I can't promise them, people like, are we going to wear masks? I know you don't like it maybe, but for the respect of the others, everybody has to.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has to. And that's how it
That's
went,
true.
and people are really felt really good, and felt secure. New people came also. But again, I don't have the system is different than it seems than in the States, where it's a whole year or half year. And we don't necessarily have to every other month or so have to, look for new students and all of that. So maybe it's different, but in terms of it, the most important is respecting the everyone's kind of like a way of, space and security, and respecting the rules too, the governmental ones, because not only for that, but for the people, their safety, and hopefully with the vaccine and all of that, it's gonna get even better. But social were stopped also. We just had the classes. I know they were pissed, but they understand, and I think they're reasonable, and they understand it, even if it pisses them a bit, but they regret it and they miss it, but still they understand. So this is how it is in France at the moment. So I don't know if it brings any kind of like idea of, and or at least if it secures you or reassures you that it's possible, but again, it's not the same system necessarily. So that's what I wanted to share.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. It's like, I mean, it does help for sure, and it sounds like you've had a lot of things to consider, right? All this time.
Yeah, you do, of course. I mean, you really have to consider all of that. And yes, money is at stake, but what is money next to people's life? And honestly, it's not just the physical, but the emotional, because some people feel also the peer pressure of the others, but come. So at one point, it's like, okay, either let's stop it, take the time. People are not really safe. They think they want to, but you feel that. It's not, they're not that secure. So and it can destroy a lot of of people. So and again, why are they dancing? Why are we dancing? Is it just what is
It's
behind it?
always an important question, right?
It really, to me, it's very important. Yeah, really, why are you dancing? Remembering it. And if you get that answer at one point, you're also going to get more secure into, okay, I'm making those choices for this reason. At least that's what I believe in. And
100%. That's very smart. That's like,
and
it's
yeah,
very
people are,
considerate.
and people feel it. People feel it if you're just there for the money, or if you're really taking first them into consideration, and you hear their needs, but at the same time, I mean,
I
yeah,
do want
go
to
on.
say, because I have heard I've heard many versions of the argument on the financial benefits associated with running these dances. Y'all know there isn't an event director out there who makes bank, who makes their money on running an event. That's not why we get into it. There's social status. There's politics, there's love and passion, and the arts that we get to protect and pursue. But if the event directors, the big event directors, aren't doing the local events, the local dances, like, we're not making our money off of that either. I can't think of a single event coordinator, a single leader in the West Coast swing community who is dancing right now. I can't think of a single one who has decided to restart because, you know what? I'd love to make all of $50 or $60 this week after paying the studio fees, the floor fees, the DJ, the teachers. After paying all of those things, all we did was create a space for those of us who do feel safe and comfortable to come out and dance. So I really don't think that there's a whole lot of our community that are doing it purely for the financial reasons. I just want to throw that out there.
Well, I'm gonna jump. I'd love to jump on that for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I feel like it might be valuable because I know we have listeners from all around the world, to just remind people that the United States are united, but in this case, especially when it comes to COVID, each state basically acts like its own little country, making its own decisions about what's okay and what's not okay. So as you hear about, Larisa, for instance, is based in California, which has had some of the strictest lockdowns of any of the 50 states. And Boston hasn't been quite so strict. I was part of a phased reopening there that gave me permission to reopen for private lessons only starting in July. And I was really scared. I was really scared because at that time, I still felt like dance was extremely dangerous. I don't, FYI, feel that way anymore. But I restarted because I was broke. I was flat broke. and I didn't have the support of the state anymore because I was allowed to reopen. So I did go back because I needed to make money. Now that's way too simple a picture, right? I don't
Mhm.
do this for a
Absolutely.
living because I make
Yeah,
money,
absolutely.
but that was definitely a motivator. And I feel like one of the things that has been so hard for people to navigate, professionals in particular, is to balance the need of financial security with safety. Basically, if we
Mhm.
wanted to be safe, none of us would be dancing together at all. That would be the safest thing, right? But of course,
Yeah.
that would apply no matter when you do it. We would never drive a
Mhm.
car. We wouldn't eat
True.
shellfish, which is too bad because shellfish is delicious. And
Shrimp.
and I feel like at some point in
We
time,
wouldn't go
what
bungee jumping. Oh, what? What?
yeah, no, not for me. No thanks. But I feel like life is a series of risk assessments. And our
Yes.
job as professionals is to do that homework
Mhm.
ourselves and then make our own decision about whether we think this is safe. And by virtue of the power instilled in us by being the professional, we're telling people what is safe. I'm reopening. I'm offering masked private lessons with 2 alternate air exchange systems added to the studio. And I believe in these things, and you should too. So I feel like we have a huge amount, maybe an inappropriate amount of power in convincing the lay dancers, the regular people, about what it's safe to do. And I see that happening across the US in communities where the organizers have opened up way earlier. The dancers come because they believe in a similar thing. Whereas in Massachusetts, we don't have any dances. They do in Connecticut over the border, but we don't have anything happening in Mass right now. And I feel like that's because the pros have decided it's not safe yet. And yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I really,
Yeah.
really appreciate that response, Tessa. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I think overall, where it comes down to is, in each of our areas or each of the communities that we serve, right now we're kind of making our own decisions of what level of safety is acceptable and kind of opening our doors to this is where I feel is safe. And if you are in agreement with that safety level, you are welcome to join
Mm.
effectively.
Yeah, you guys all said like really great stuff about this. I would like to move on to the next topic, if that's okay. We have
Sure.
another question coming in.
Happy things.
And it goes like this. I feel like I can do drills for weight transfer pretty good barefoot, but when I put on dance shoes, it's harder to do this since they're more slippery. Or is it just a thing I have to get used to? On the other hand, we need this to rotate properly. So what is your advice for good dancing shoes in West Coast swing? That was asked by Klienko here on the Discord chat. Who
Ooh,
wants
since no
to
one's
go
going,
first?
I gotta give.
Yes,
since
go
no,
ahead, Jesse.
since no one's jumping in, I gotta give a shout out to the boots that are coming out of the Korean Westies. They come in like white and brown and black, and they are so fantastic to dance in. There's like mesh siding to them, which makes it really breathable for your feet. They're super flexible. It's easy to move around with. Um, I know that there are lots of West Coast swing dancers who are developing better versions of the shoes too. Nick King just came out with a brand new line of boots.
Oh,
Patty Bell
really?
has some swing sandals. Todd has the gladiators. Like there are lots of cool versions of the shoes. But if you're looking to increase your means of movement, like to better develop the quality of your movement for the weight transfers, for the rotations, then just concentrate on learning from your local professionals about grounding and the control of your weight as it moves between your feet, so that you can learn about the proper poise position of where your weight goes, and it'll change the pressure of your foot into the floor, which will then switch it from feeling slippery to feeling powerful and mobile. The end.
Well, Jesse, if you want, you can send Justin the link and he'll post it in the links channel so that everyone would know where they can get those shoes that you recommended.
Yeah, Jesse, just send me the links over and I'll post them all up in the Q&A pro links, which everyone can find just below this text chat.
Man, Justin, it's still so good to hear your voice. I've missed you. I'll certainly send you a message on it.
Don't
I
do
do.
it.
I
buddy.
miss you, bro. I miss
I'll
you.
put the money in the post. Cheers, buddy.
Yeah, don't get him started. He loves hearing himself. That's like.
I'm just excited that somebody would take the opportunity to do some work without shoes on. I feel like that's a really good process for any dancer to discover what their feet do without support. And I commend that. I feel like maybe they should stay out of shoes for a little while longer and figure out what it's like to be able to find a way to rotate or develop the calluses that you need to be able to do that. One of the things that I love about having started in the solo dancing genres, modern, ballet, jazz, is that in those cases, you spend years developing control and strength through your feet, and that the shoes are always in support of that. And I feel like in West Coast Swing, we're such a sort of a bar dance that people just do it in whatever. And that only when you reach a certain level of interest, of motivation to learn, do people actually get into what the human foot is capable of. And it's a pretty freaking awesome part of the body. So
Yeah, to be honest, I can definitely empathize with that. Like from my experience, I started dancing barefoot because my floor here is not amazing at home. It's pretty old and I don't want to destroy it completely with my shoes, but it gives like a whole other feeling for that. And Larisa, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I have opinions.
I knew
No
you
shit.
So, okay. I believe that like each dance style, like a lot of, they all have a type of shoe that best facilitates how we use the floor or how our body is best positioned to connect properly in whatever partner dance you're doing. And I firmly believe that some of the traditional, maybe like the classic sandal or some of the other shoes that we wear in this dance for lead or follow, they help facilitate some of the dance-specific technique that we need to properly do a lot of like our fundamentals in this dance. So I strongly urge all of my students to be doing their drills in and out of their shoes. And also there's a difference between maybe a comfortable shoe for social dancing versus a shoe that's really designed to like with the need of our dance in mind. Our dance, like there are certain shoes that are literally designed with like some top dancers who understand the fundamental classic mechanics of their dance style.
Putting it on.
Yeah, we can't hear
Where'd it go? Oh,
you.
Is that
Larisa?
Tessa?
No, we've got
Oh,
we've got a rogue extra sounds going. There we
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Like, I urge my students to be doing their drills out of, their shoes, whatever kind of shoe they want to be in. But also, I think it's really important to spend a lot of time doing those drills, transitioning into your dancing, whether you're dancing basics in a practice or you're out on a social floor. I think it's really important that we tie that all together with some of those fundamental things we want in our bodies. And then once you really have those in your muscle memory and you're comfortable and fluid with them, and then you can start maybe experimenting with lots of different kinds of footwear that maybe change and affect some of your technique. You may feel really poised and refined in like a sandal for a follow, and then you may put on a flat and feel it's going to facilitate being really like funky and groovy, and you're going to use your legs very differently. And it's, if you've practiced the fundamentals of your technique in the shoes designed for those things, then that's going to be continuous regardless of if you're trying to dance it groovier or more traditionally or in a flat versus a heel. It's going to translate into everything and be consistent and wonderful. And then you can add all those other things on for flavor. You can put on other dance shoes to facilitate different movements, but it's all going to be layered onto this wonderful technical traditional like swingy base. I hope that makes sense. That is my personal opinions on the matter.
Oh, that makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense. That was very technical. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
And Phoenix, do you want to go next?
Well, Larisa kind of touched on most of what I was going to say, much
Mhm.
nicer than I was going to say it. But overall, my idea is that, you know, I would encourage people to experiment, right? I would completely agree with try some of the traditional routes to see how you like it. Try some of the more comfortable options to see what it gets out of you. Like what I would encourage is see what effect different types of shoes give you. So like I've had my own journey. Literally 3 or 4 days ago, I put on my Cuban heels for the first time in years. And I regret to find out I looked better in them, you know? And it's like, but at the same time, it changed my pitch in a certain way. It completed my leg lines in a certain way that I liked, but it also um, created an aesthetic that I also wasn't fully in love with. So I was able to look at it and see I really love what it does for me in this aspect, but I also don't like the overall picture that it gives me. So like I have that opportunity to look at a certain style of footwear and see how it affects my movement and how it affects the style that I create, and make my opinions based on that. But baseline, you know, find something that's comfortable. Like start with what's comfortable for you. Start with maybe something that's not comfortable for you and see how it affects you and work from there.
Just a
The
shout
journey of
out to,
discovery.
sorry, Phoenix.
Oh, go ahead.
A shout out to my tall followers out there. You can wear heels, boo. You can. Don't be
No, but I don't
convinced.
because I'm tall. I know
Don't.
there's that thread all the time that was like, "Hey, tall followers, shout out," and everybody's like, "Oh my God, look at me, I'm 5'7." I'm like, "Girl, I am 6'0" without heels."
Yeah. So I guess I say that because I remember being told myself at 5 feet 10 inches, somebody turned that into metric for me, but I remember being told that I should wear flat boots because I would be less annoying to my leaders. And I
Ooh.
believe that it's the leader's job to accommodate the height of the person they're dancing with. So wear what you want.
Yes.
One more thing. Oh, I'll add to that. If you really want to hack to make the leaders get over your head, wear 6-inch platform pumps. Because when you are 6'6", they will get their hand over your head no matter what it takes.
Oh my God.
It's
We need a
amazing.
hashtag for that, Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came in drag heels and like everybody suddenly gave me space. I'm like, where was this when I was 6'0"? What happened? I think that's like what, 180 centimeters or something like that? 170
Something
something?
about intentionality. It's crazy.
I know, it's crazy. I'm just
For
in
any
that
event
uncanny
directors,
valley of tall where they don't think I'm tall.
for any event directors listening, you should definitely get Phoenix to do a workshop with those platforms on. I will quite happily
Right.
film that.
I'll do a heels class. I'll figure something out.
So
Broly.
yeah, I mean, I'll point out my opinion too, but I've loved everything I heard. Honestly, it's the thing is, to me, people, if we are practicing with some shoes and we expect to be going out there on the floor and with other shoes and have the same facilities and the same abilities, it's like it's not going to happen so well, of course. You have so many things to take into account. I mean, you've had some, as you said, muscle memory exercise things that happen in your body, but you have to take into account, the possibilities of your feet. You have to take into account the floor that you're going to be dancing to, and all of this. I mean, it lays down to, of course, I walk home. I walk in my house always barefoot out. I love walking barefoot. I'm used
Even
to
in the
that.
winter?
Well, honestly, in the house, yes, without a
Okay.
problem. And so the thing is, there's, some people you've mentioned technique. Of course, there's technique. You've mentioned all the how do you say that? My English doesn't matter. Anyway, it's where do you feel comfortable? Practice with that. If
Mm-hmm.
you expect to change shoes when you're going to be, I don't know, on the dance floor with some, either it be social or comps, and all of a sudden manage with all of your body, it's a whole body thing. Things are going to happen, and psychologically you're used to some shoes, you're used to some,
Mm-hmm.
so your body, you're not even conscious of what's happening. It's going faster than you have the possibility of thinking. So you want to be great at use different shoes. You want to, is the values of aesthetic. I've heard about aesthetic. Some people, when I started dancing barefoot, people are like, ah, and in comps, no, you can't. Oh, there's a show, you can't go barefoot. It's like,
And then you
at
took
one
first
point,
place. You're like, yeah, drop the mic.
well, no, it's not about place, and that's the thing. And it comes back to why I didn't start again dancing right
Mm.
after we were allowed. Is at one point is, why are you dancing? What do you need for you? I respect
Okay.
all the teachers, honestly, but you know your body better than your teachers at one point. Or you
Mm.
should know, sorry, you should learn your body more than your teachers should, know you. So try, experiment. I've heard that word from I don't remember who, but experiment it. And depending on what you like, use what is the best for you. And yes, maybe some people are going to tell me, yeah, but the aesthetic for me is not my number one. It's the
Okay.
feeling. I'm more kinesthetic than visual. And for me, I'm there for this and these reasons. It's to share, to dance with the other one. It's not to look good. And I think that I will look the best when I am actually doing it the way I like it.
Yeah, when you're
Always in
most
respect to the
comfortable,
person.
right?
Yes, and always in respect to the other person. But some people will put aesthetic something that is very, very important. Then go according to, but practice with what makes you look the way you like to look. But don't
Mm.
practice with one type of shoe and expect to be going with, during moments where you have stress and all of that, and dancing with somebody else, dealing with the other person, whether you're a follower and leader, and expecting with new shoes that it's not going to change your body. It is. It
Yeah,
is. It
for
is.
sure.
And again, it's not you who's bad, the person asking the question. It's just how you wait, you take anything, it's going to influence you. You take something in your arms, it's going to affect your whole body.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have to deal and really learning how your feet work, how you feel, what balance is, how to deal with your own balance. This is as important as the it's more important than the patterns or the tricks or the all of that. It's how do you feel, because you have also your own anatomy, your
Mm-hmm.
own your own weaknesses, places where it hurts, and maybe the shoes that you're going to be asked. And please, lots of shoes are out there are amazing. I'm not saying that I don't have to sell anything, and I respect the shoe, but you go for what is more comfortable for you. There's common sense, and what you're looking for, and practice, with what makes you feel the best. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
listen to the opinions and try them, but choose what also what fits you, and learn the consequences depending on where you are, where you're dancing, what events, what places. You're not going to use the same things on grass then on concrete, or on a wonderful dance floor, or in my shitty floor in my house. You see, so it depends, really depends.
Yeah, for sure. And it's very important what you said here. It's like, first of all, what's healthy, what suits your body, right? What fits you. That's and
Yeah,
what makes you feel comfortable. And knowing your
that's important.
body, that's like a very big one.
Mm. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah,
But I've loved everything I've heard.
thank you very much for that. And now we'll go on to the next question. What's your favorite food or location in the US, Europe, or Asia? Wow, that's a broad one. Okay, so you get to choose either a favorite food, either your favorite location, country, whatever. Whatever you want. Who wants to start? Jesse, do you want to jump in?
I have a lot of love for Taiwan, Singapore, and Australia as places to dance, as places to eat, as places to connect with people. They're incredible communities. All of the Asian communities that I have visited, South Korea, Westies are amazing. So I'm gonna give love to the Asian Open and say that those events, the Australian events, are great places to eat, great places to dance.
Wow, yeah, I've heard so much about Asian Open. I would really want to go there one day.
Oh, you have to go. You've never been. You have to go.
No, I've never
Especially,
been.
man, we're seeing all of the posts this particular month of like, oh, I missed the Asian Open because it's April, like this particular week, and they're like, oh, I wish you could see it. I wish it was here. I wish we could be there, and it's so sad because it'd be amazing.
Yeah, and it's from everywhere, right? Everywhere around the world. That's insane. Larisa, do you want to go next?
Sure. I mean, I feel obligated to say hummus and
Yeah, go Israel.
I feel like I have to say that.
But not before the contest, right? Because after hummus, you're gonna need to sleep for a while.
True, very true.
So a really heavy one.
I think that's my actual answer, though. Probably just hummus.
I'll take that.
All right.
Phoenix, what do you think?
Making me choose, so rude. I don't know. I mean, there's like a little bit of something that I've liked out of every place that I've gone. I know it's such a non-answer. Like I really enjoyed Norway because everybody's tall. Like, everybody's tall. It's
Yeah, that
amazing.
was kind of hard for me actually, but okay, everyone
Yeah.
has their own problems.
But you know, I really liked goulash in Budapest. Like that was so good. It was amazing. I loved it over there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There were, you know, just the beauty of Vienna was really awesome.
Billy
I haven't been
appreciates
to very
that.
much of Europe. I've had basically those three places in France. France had good cheese. You know, that was nice.
Yes,
I'm so
I've
basic.
heard.
I'm very basic. I'm sorry.
Look, why should you be sorry? It's wonderful.
Very
Yeah, the
endearing.
French cheese is like famous all over the world, right? It's not basic at all, actually. Cheese in France.
Yeah. Now, granted, my cuisine, just to put this on a level, to raise the bar here, to lower the bar. When the kind of food that I eat, when I described it to my friends, they were like, "Hey, do you want to come over for dinner? What kind of food should we avoid?" And I was like, "You know what? Shorter list. I'll just list the things that I do like." I started listing things, and then she just so succinctly said, "Okay, so pretend I'm cooking for a 7-year-old and I'll be okay." I'm like, "Yes."
So it's like mac and cheese and pizza?
Exactly. So I want to go to Italy because I love
Mac and cheese and pizza.
pizza, I love spaghetti.
Oh my
I
god.
heard it's my cuisine. I love Olive Garden.
And still somehow you stay fit this entire time. Amazing.
We'll not talk
Do-
about
Yeah, well, have you gained weight during the pandemic? Next time we'll see Phoenix like double the size.
Yeah. Phoenix
Oh,
gross.
oh no.
No, I'm joking. Everybody is beautiful,
Yeah,
especially the
Phoenix.
one that I have because it's all that I get.
Oh.
Browley, what's your favorite food and or location?
Well, my favorite food and location. Honestly, it really depends. When I feel that I don't know, I need like a reboost, I eat some food from my home country, which is Togo. So some traditional
Mhm.
food. Favorite places, honestly, it's actually it's everywhere there's people. people with that I share. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have to choose, and because I don't want to choose, because it's where actually I live moments. It has nothing to do with the event is interesting, but what makes the event is the people there, and what the
For
people
sure.
what you share there, whether it be on the floor, outside of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
If you're able to be there a little bit before and visit the place, so it's anywhere where you actually have time to actually well, I have so many memories from like so many different countries, and honestly, to choose would be for me disrespectful, and I don't want to, because I've had so many lovely and amazing experiences and memories from, I would say, everywhere I've been. And um and so to choose, I would say no. No, it's just, it's just being with the people and having all that and dancing with them, listening to awesome music, seeing lovely places, but places without people, I'm not that kind of, like, I'm not very monument and everything. It's always linked to people for me.
So
So,
you're
and
less into hiking in nature and stuff.
oh, I am. I am. But I thought you were more talking about, you've been talking about, West Coast swing kind of. But if it's that, honestly, I have my moments where I love to be with people, and I
Mm-hmm.
love to be alone. And people who know me know that. So yeah, I'm when I say people, I'm not talking about numbers.
Yeah.
I'm talking mainly about people having one-to-one relations, and sharing things, and or little groups. I'm more of a little group kind of person rather than a big crowd and all of that.
Mm.
And then my own moments where I'm alone and I'm just walking alone in the city, or walking with the ones who want to be there, and showing me what they love in that city. That's the thing I love, not the tourist kind of
Right.
thing, but like little places you don't get to see, or when
Mm-hmm.
you don't know the place. So yeah, that's what I love. And it smells, lots of things. Sorry, I'm not making you dream, but it's okay.
No, that's a great answer. You definitely don't have to choose. That's a really great answer. Tessa, do you want to choose?
Yeah, I'll choose. But I have to take a tick off of my dog's head. So why don't you tell us what you would pick your, and then I'll tell you.
Ooh,
Go on,
okay.
you
Do I
about. You
need
can answer this one. Go on, you can have a go.
Okay, well, in terms of food, like actually my favorite food is pizza. Even if it's like junk, I still like it. That's like my go-to. And the second thing is the shawarma, but only in Israel, because
Yes.
like the doner kebabs here, I'm sorry, they're not at that level. Like shawarma in Israel is something from another galaxy. And anyone who hasn't tried it yet don't know what they're missing. And about a favorite place, you know what? I've been to Estonia once for that small event that's called Old Town Swing. I really hope it will return one day. And that was just an awesome experience. I was there for a whole week. It was when I left Israel and I did some kind of a Euroswing trip. It was like too smooth, and the move to Europe was a period of my life where I didn't know where I'm going, what I'm going to do, but that's a whole other story. And in Estonia, in Tallinn, the capital city, was just something that I've never experienced. I don't know. There was just something magical about the atmosphere there and the combination between new and old. And the event was amazing. The atmosphere during the event, the people there in the city, there were a lot of internationals there. It was just something that I take with me, and I would love to visit there again and maybe even live there someone in the future.
You make
That's
Have you
my
me
got?
take on
you make me hungry for shawarma.
that. Yeah, Tessa, so how's it going with the tick?
Well, it's gone, which is great.
Good.
Unfortunately, we've had early spring here, which is really nice, but awful for ticks. Um,
Oh,
My dog Porter and I feel very similarly about food, which is when can we have some next?
Like Phoenix, right?
Yeah, except unlike Phoenix, we will eat just about anything, maybe him even more than myself, since he considers his own poop to be delicious. I don't go quite that far, but it definitely
Okay.
impacts. I think pretty much any travel that I do is based on what I can eat there. So Israel is now definitely on my list. If you
Oh,
told me
yeah.
about something delicious to eat in Estonia, I might put it on there. But without the food as the motivator, I pretty much don't want to go.
Okay, I'll share it with you later then.
Okay. A favorite place happens to be where I am today, which is in Maine. Maine is the top right-hand corner of the United States, and it is the most beautiful place in the world. I am looking at the ocean and the
Wow.
flowers blooming. There is a porcupine walking across my yard right now.
Nice.
And they're the funniest looking creatures. This morning on the walk that I did with my dog, we passed deer. It also has some of the best food you can possibly eat, but it doesn't have tacos. So if you asked me whether I wanted to get on a plane to somewhere today, I would be going to San Diego, California for tacos and dancing at Starlight.
Hell yeah.
Wow. Okay, that about sums it, I think. Justin, I think we need to go to a break now, right?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good time to head to a break. Yep. So, Andreas, turn on the elevator music for YouTube and Facebook, and we'll see you all in a few minutes. Welcome back to the West Coast Swing Discord sessions live Q&A with Larisa, Phoenix, Tessa, Browley, and Jesse. We've got about another 45 minutes to an hour left to go, so make sure you get your question in. So, Yuval, what have the community been saying?
Well, so we have. Do you want to send in the next question?
Yeah, we have the next question. I'll read this one out for you. And basically, it was from Ethan1405 in the Discord chat.
Ethan.
And he wants to. Oh, hold on. And I've actually got the wrong question. And that's very professional. And he goes, what is. I actually copy and pasted it. Hey, that's me being unprofessional. I'll put it in the chat. But what is your favorite part of the dance and why? And he stated some examples. Let me put that in the chat. I am juggling so many windows right now. It's unbelievable.
Okay,
there you
no
go.
rush.
What is your favorite part of the dance and why? Is it music, freedom, connection, etc., etc.? Like, what made you choose this dance and not something else? Let's start with Phoenix for that one.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Well, my, harkening back to my first dance experience, connection is what like got me. The first thing that we did in that little club experience was, lean in toward each other like a house of cards and then share a center and change weight. Very Argentine tango sort of. And I just had this moment right away. Like I understood what to do, and the person that I was with was she was in the club, so she knew what she was doing already. And in that moment, I was like, I can feel where your weight is, how much of your weight is on that foot, where your foot is in space. You have like become an extension of myself. And I was like, this is crack. This is amazing. I want to
Wow.
learn it. And, over time I realized, oh, that physical body language is really just what professional dancers do. That's what we use to accomplish really subtle, intricate conversations through dance. And so West Coast Swing was kind of my first outlet to start discovering that, and it worked out because we danced to the same music that I like, and there's again just a lot of freedom to it. So it was a natural place for me to start learning that. But the same thing kind of came in with Zouk for me. Like the first time I danced Zouk with some Zouk professionals, I feel like I actually hit that nirvana of dance that I had the vision of, like the first time I danced, because I was up at a weekend in Seattle that was kind of a crossover West Coast Swing and Zouk event, and I was carrying a lot of like internal tension around gender roles and whatever, and I didn't really know the Zouk people very much, and I was like, oh, I'm a guy, I follow, I don't know if this is okay, and Zouk is a really close dance, and all of that, and like I got to dance with some of their pros, and their pros were like, I just like stood there and they like initiated the full contact of the dance. I was like, oh, this is okay. This is fine. It's like, it's not a bad thing. And like Zouk pros are legit, just FYI. Like they will make you move rib by rib. They will move each and every single individual one of your things. I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just the feeling of being dancing, and for me, following is like riding a roller coaster. You strap yourself in and go for a ride, and it's addicting. It's my life. But yeah.
Yeah, that was very deep. Thanks for
But yeah,
that.
when I teach, I try to introduce connection first, kind of that first skill of just changing weight together. I always start my classes with that because like for me, that's what got me there, and I'm like, I want everybody to experience it.
Yeah, the connection with Coast Swing is amazing. I think that Ethan, the guy who asked the question, would definitely agree. Larisa, do you want to go next?
Sure, yeah. I came at this dance a little bit differently because I was a musician my whole life before dance.
Ooh.
So I was a classical
What do you
violinist.
play? Violinist. Ooh.
Yeah. So that's the training I had. That's the connection I had. And then from there, I went and did a lot of choir, a lot of singing, vocal jazz competitions, that kind of thing. So I did have a very different background. So then I came to dance as just another way of kind of enhancing my relationship with music, kind of filling out all the different ways I can explore that. And then had a friend who just asked me to go out and find dance and like check it out. So I did. And that's what did it for me. And so as like I love dance, like I haven't really been playing violin since I got really into West Coast. It kind of, it took over. I feel like a lot of us say that it kind of takes over. But for me, it really felt like an extension of all of that I've experienced through the violin, through vocals. Like it's just another way of connecting to music, expressing music, and then getting to do it with another person, like in like creating something, whether it's in a routine or a social dance, or like there's something really magical about that. And it's the same thing, it's the same love that I had when I was in a symphony or in a choir. And there was always a moment in every concert where, or every performance, like I would be there in the middle of all these people creating something really amazing together. And you'd look around and be like, oh my God, I'm so blessed to be part of this. I'm one voice in all of this. And how fucking cool is that? And I feel very much the same way about West Coast Swing as I did then. I get to be part of something really amazing. And I feel that as a DJ as well, I get to facilitate all of these amazing moments that people are having. I get to create and experience that with my partner or the audience and the people watching me. That's what keeps me coming back every time. That's what keeps me like addicted. And even when there's like drama or COVID or whatever it is, like it's that makes me want to do this over and over again.
Wow. And that's like definitely helps when you're DJing, right? It definitely
yeah.
part of that.
It's a huge part. Like DJing felt very natural, just the way, like going through all of those things, like violin to singing to dance to DJ, like it all felt very fluid. It all feels very connected. It's all just different expressions of a similar feeling for me. So it didn't like, it was just an easy switch. It all just kind of makes sense for me. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's a lot. That's very deep too. Well, thank you very much for that. Tessa, do you want to go next?
Yes, thank you. I started my first partner dancing experience was in ballroom. And I absolutely adored ballroom. And one of the reasons why I did was because it made me feel like I was in the movie Strictly Ballroom. But also because it found a way to bring so many different kinds of music to life. And having a dance that I could fit to whatever happened to come on the radio was such a juicy, gooey, delicious thing to me. But it missed something. It missed being able to reflect that music to a greater degree. Everything I did was choreographed. And so we would choreograph phrasing into the routines, but the songs would come on and there would be many more layers that there wasn't room in the choreography or in the social structure of how the dancing was done to reflect that. And
do you mean musically or do you mean emotionally?
Both, because to me, music and emotion are tied, right? And then the other piece of that was that what I heard always was superseded by what the leader heard. The leader was the one to determine when we did something and what we did. And I'm quite a strong woman with a lot of ideas, and I hear music very articulately. And I didn't know those things until I found West Coast Swing and discovered that as a follower, I could present what I heard to my partner and to the world, and that there was room to be able to create nuance in what you were doing based on what you heard. And to me, that's relatively unique. Argentine tango, zouk to a degree, which I admit I don't know very much of, and West Coast Swing are pretty niche in being able to give people the opportunity to reflect what they hear and followers, the
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
freedom and the power to be able to say, I hear this with me. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why this dance is going to grow exponentially in the next 100 years, because
Amen to that.
women are, and I shouldn't just say women, but I'm going to say that just for simplicity's sake, we're being given an opportunity to share our voices in a way that hasn't been safe for us for most of our existence. And I get really psyched about that. I think that
Mhm.
is just so cool. But I admit, when you play the song Voulez-vous coucher avec moi, that's a cha-cha, and I don't want a West Coast swing to it.
Robert Royston would agree. For sure.
Noted it won't be in social set.
That's hearing hustle.
Yeah. Good to hear that, Justin, and not in comms, right?
You never know.
Oh no. Okay. Browley, what's your take on that?
Oh shit! Just now to actually after that. So why did I come to West Coast Swing? Actually, because I was a bit tired of the possibilities that I had myself in salsa and the speed and everything. And mind you, I really, I think it was more because I didn't know enough different genre in salsa, because it's salsa, it's so general a name. There's so many different ways, and I didn't know enough about it. And here in Strasbourg, I was not able to learn enough about it. But actually, in West Coast Swing, I would say it was not only the fact that the songs you could dance to were not, you didn't have one genre to be dancing to. This is
Mm-hmm.
one of the things. Of course, the speed also, because it was slower. Therefore, you had, you didn't have to be running after, after the song and everything, and you had time to breathe for you as a learner and for the other person also. And now this topic about um, let's put it simply.
Mm-hmm.
West Coast Swing. I don't know if it's actually West Coast Swing that I dance. There is some elements of it. No, and actually, when I teach, at one point I say, and I humbly say, I don't probably don't teach West Coast Swing. But I'm just giving an opinion. I know the structure, and I'm actually using it as a mean just of people, because of people to actually get a way of expressing themselves, compared to some other dances where you're often in only enclosed position. Here you're closed and open positions. So of course there's more freedom for both leaders or followers, and men, women, I don't care the gender, or I'm not, I don't care about that. But it's also because of it's where it's going. It's simply because there's not this tradition, and it's not written. It's not a dance that has been written and set up. I'm gonna say something that people might not like it. Nobody has been able to define it, and totally, it was just yet, or maybe they have finally done it at the U.S. Open, whatever. But for a dance that has been existing for so long, there's no book, there's nothing where everybody agrees on it, and that's what I like about it. That's what I like about it, and I just use it as a mean. For me, it's a dance where I have a possibility, under the name of West Coast Swing, where you have the possibility of actually expressing, interpreting music, and where it has been actually sold as a way where finally followers can, can do their thing also, and can express themselves. But honestly, I believe that it should be like that in more dances, and not just it's just not an element of West Coast Swing. You have that in salsa. It all depends on the two people dancing together. How do they see that dance? There's the basic fundamentals, but what are they doing? How are they dancing together on the music? It's also a more of a, it you would have, it's just more of a, it's psychologically, it's like who is teaching it more. The more women are going to be teaching it, and the more the women teaching it are also going to be given space to also, you know, to know that at one point, you don't just lead. You lead.
Mm-hmm.
For me as a leader, I am actually following.
Okay.
I'm not just leading what I
Interesting.
want. I am talking. It's a communication. And I've done other dances. Yes, some because they have more of a, they don't have so much of social dancing. It's mainly based or known as routine dances. But even those dances, whether it be valse and all of that, you can actually find there's also communication and expression that can be done over there as well for followers as well for followers. And for me, my that's why I'm saying it's more of a, I love that dance because it has given me the possibility, because it was open-minded, a street dance, and with all these different kinds of songs and genre that actually made also the dance change. And that's
Right.
why I stayed there. And today, am I dancing West Coast Swing? Honestly, and in respect, and I'm really precising it, in respect to what has been done, what is being done, and also what's going to be done in the future. I don't know if I'm dancing. And honestly, I don't really care. I want to learn more about what has been done before. But today, what matters to me is actually fitting the structure at moments. And sometimes I'm going to go out of the box because what matters more is communicating. And how do we do it? Well, you've got elements from its movement. It's not a style, just one style. This is my opinion. And people don't like it or not. This is how I see it. And that's what I love about the fact that this has been possible in this dance. But I don't want it to be kind of like the brand of this dance, because honestly, I would love that people to
Mm-hmm.
realize that you have that in other styles of dance as well, and it's possible. It just depends on what people want to do in those other styles of dances, and also
Mm-hmm.
what the people supporting those, or the champions of different dances and the people that dictate, actually don't set, for example, you've got one leader and you just follow. Following is it's leading if you're a good leader, because you have to lead according to the follower, and the follower follows according to the leader. They're both leaders and followers. This is my opinion, and it shouldn't be just a West Coast Swing thing. I'm sorry if I'm disturbing everybody, maybe or not. I don't care. I respect it, but this is how I see it, and that's what I love about this dance, that it made it possible. There is room for it, but I truly believe that it's not just something that has to be branded to this dance.
Well, I think, like, first of all, you don't need to apologize at all. That was
No, but
amazing.
it's just my way of being. I just want to make sure, because English is not my first language, and I just want to make sure that people don't feel offended. I'm just sharing my point of view, and again, um, maybe it's because I don't know West Coast Swing, and it's okay. I'm fine with that too.
I would definitely not say you don't know West Coast Swing. I think you dance amazing West Coast Swing, and that's like one of the strongest selling points. I think that the dance is so diverse. Jesse, I'd love to hear your take on that.
Well, my my reason for dancing West Coast Swing over the other styles has evolved as I have evolved, and will continue to do so as West Coast Swing and the surrounding community continues to evolve. I do have appreciation for the music and the inclusivity, um, for the intentionality of being financially accessible in a different way than a lot of the other partner dancers. Um, Growing up in the ballroom community, where
Amen to that, Jesse. Amen to
it's a
that.
huge difference. It's huge difference. And I'm with Tessa, like she said earlier. Ballroom uh, and salsa and bachata, they dance to the numbers. They do not dance to the music. So there's a specifically designed box that fits into this many numerics, and then you've concluded that, and you can go on to the next thing. But but the very first time that I ever got to go to a West Coast Swing Festival was Midwest Westy Fest in Kansas City. It wasn't a pointed event yet at that time. Kyle and Amy Patel were running it. They're two amazing community leaders here in Kansas City. And we had Jordan and Tatiana in that weekend. And I distinctly remember asking Tatiana, not knowing who she was. I'd been dancing West Coast for 3 weeks with Chris Swearingen. He was my first West Coast swing teacher. And so I learned for 3 weeks leading up to it just for the funsies of jumping in the newcomer division. And I knew that I wanted to be a West Coast Swing champion that weekend in newcomer. As I competed, it was so much fun. It was so accessible. It was so inclusive of an environment. They knew I was a ballroom dancer. They knew I wasn't good, but I still got included. And so did so many other types of humans around me. And so I asked Tatiana to dance, and she said, "Oh, no," because I'm going outside right now. But hours and hours later, she found me at like 4 a.m. when there's 20 people left on the floor. She found me. She's like, "Hey, you asked me for a dance." I was shocked. I was like, "Yeah, I did." Years later, I recognized the significance of what that meant, of her intentionality in finding me again. I've tried to live my West Coast swing life according to the idea that there's worth for you being here, not for you being of a certain skill set, of a certain lead or follow archetype, of a certain gender or race or age or size. It's ridiculous. Just include people. And that is something really special with this version of the dance. Our expression of the music is also amazing. Our connection, I would argue, is amazing and unique. But the dance is willing to change. We're willing to include, and we're financially available. And I think that those things are really important, make a big difference.
For sure. Wow, that's like, I think we're recording it, so maybe we'll use it to market West Coast Swing. I think these are like super duper strong stuff. And they're like, they came from the heart, so thank you for that. Next question. Oh, that's a hot potato right there. Do you think we're doing enough to degender West Coast Swing? Felix, do you want to start?
Oh, you want me to start?
What a surprise.
I'm shocked. Wow. Yeah, so where I am with degendering and whether we're doing enough right now, I kind of look at the whole of how far we've come since I started. So when I started, I was encouraged to lead because I was a guy. But I felt in my heart that I was a follower, and through the long story of how degendering eventually happened, I was just having a lot of conversations with people and being like, hey, why am I not allowed to follow? Like, why is that a thing? And I was the right person at the right time in the right place with, enough people behind me to realize everybody's saying, hey, I'm on your team, but they. And with the they weren't really existing all that much. There wasn't a whole lot of they. There is a they, but they were more of the minority. And so things flipped over, and where we are now is, people of any gender can dance in whatever role that they like. We have routines divisions, we've got Jack and Jills, we've got much more appropriate fun divisions happening more frequently. So we have like the switchleys and the role reversals and things that are a lot more appropriate to the new atmosphere that we're looking to create. For me, a lot of my work admittedly started tapering off at a point when the community got to a place that started to feel more comfortable for me. which was once I was allowed to compete as a follower, once I was allowed to, do what my goals were through the lens of being a follower. But what I'm realizing is there really is just so much more to be done, and especially where I need to start putting more work in is continuing to foster the community that I built, the Degenerating West Coast Swing Group. Like recently, I saw on Instagram there's Gender Neutral Swing that popped up, which is actually Lindy
Oh,
Hop. It's
really?
their community. They are
Okay.
posting videos left and right. They have so much representation of gender neutral dancing. It's insane. And I thought to
Wow.
myself, wow,
Yeah,
why
let's
don't
make
we
something
have
like
that
that,
much?
right?
Yeah. And I'm thinking, I mean, we have a lot. I probably just really have to look for it a lot better, but why don't we have a bajillion examples of gender neutral dancing all over our dance from all levels? You know? So I want to work on doing that more. But I also want to be working on um, serving the sides of gender that also don't get served in the community that aren't my own personal interest. Like, I'm not a trans individual, I'm a cisgendered male. Like, there are multiple gender expressions that also benefit from degendering the dance. And I think there could be so much more work in normalizing gender neutral dancing and creating a safe space for people regardless of their background be to feel like they're welcome in the dance. So there's my heavy topic.
No, but that was great. That was
Love
really
it.
great.
Fantastic answer, Phoenix.
I feel like the some of the greatest opportunity for change is on the individual level. And in that respect, as a studio owner and social dance workshop organizer, I have the greatest opportunity to start changing the minds of people who show up to my dances in Boston. And
Yes.
that way, anybody who walks in the door, whether they would automatically choose one role or not, no matter what, they're getting an expression of what this society is and what we support. And I find that to be really important. I when I think about what this community could do right away, my first impulse is to say that we should have event organizers be willing to hire individual instructors rather than just partnerships. If I had a
Yes,
dollar for
Tessa.
Yes.
if I had a dollar for every time that I got turned down to teach because I'm a single female and I didn't have a man to do the leader's part with me, and it's always assumed that I need somebody to do the leader's role, when in fact, these days I actually spend more time leading than I do following. I have more
And
female
better than
students.
most leaders do.
So thank you, dear. And I take just as much joy in that. I feel like personally, I need both roles in order to be fulfilled. But if we could show at competitions at large, where you get to influence many individuals in one moment, if you were allowed to see that the female instructor was doing the leader role or that the male instructor was doing the follower role, that sort of influence is hugely effective. But we have to start somewhere from that. And I think that in order for that to be true, the organizers have to perhaps bench the desire to have a great choreographed routine show as the reason to hire people, and instead go for quality of instructor, and perhaps maybe not quite as full a venue for their routine divisions.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of strong stuff there. Thank you so much, Tessa, for that.
And
That's
if
definitely
I could
important.
tap back into that a little bit. Yeah, a lot of it happens small scale and with us. So like one of the things that I was recognizing in my journey of influencing the community is I, as the person who was the intruder to the norm, I took the mantle myself to create the comfort for other people. So when I was going to workshops as a follower, I would go up to whatever guy was leading and, like act like I belonged there, act like I was comfortable there. I may or may not have actually been comfortable in that position, but I took it upon myself to set the culture that it was okay, so that the people around me could adopt that comfort. And as somebody in a position as a teacher, as a community leader, as anything in those lines, we set the culture around us. So we have a lot of opportunity as professionals to create those safe spaces and think about ways to be inclusive to our community. And there was something, I was on a LGBTQ panel recently, and a wonderful person on that panel does a lot of social work in that field. And what they said was, one of the big things that what are the big things that you can do in dance? It was general dance, but some of the big things that you can do is normalizing pronouns. So like one of my new things that I'm going to be doing when I start classes again is anytime there's introductions, anytime that we go around and do names, I'm also going to be asking pronouns. So I'll be saying, "Hi, everybody. My name is Phoenix. I go by he, him pronouns. What's your experience with dance, or what are you looking to get out of this class, or what are you excited about, or whatever my general questions are." I'm going to start adding that into my general go around of the circle when we're community building, when we're doing that, because there's an importance to protecting the most vulnerable person in your community. And what's also more important is to not only just do that when you have a visibly non-binary or non-cisgendered person in the room, it's doing that regardless of whether there is somebody who is part of the established norm.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Definitely. Larisa, do you want to add on that?
I mean, to be honest, I don't have too much to add on this. Like, I think it's just wonderful that it's even that there's so many people who are working really hard to do better. Like, I see a lot of teachers really trying to be better about pronouns or in classes, or being, more strict with themselves when they're saying leader and follower versus like, come over here, gentlemen, like that kind of stuff. I feel like as a community, there's been a lot of progress in that direction. I would love for everything to go so far that, this isn't an issue anymore. Like, it can just be dancing with people to music that we love. And like, that's kind of the end of the discussion. I just know as a society, we're a long way off from that, but I'm grateful for the steps we're taking. And, Phoenix, I have a lot of respect for you and all the work you've done in our community, and I love you.
I love you more.
So yeah, that's all I have to say. Phoenix, you're doing a great job and you've done a lot. So we're really lucky to have you in our dance.
I want to do more.
100%. Brawley, do you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to say, so this is, I'm not gonna say it's more of an American issue, because we have that also here, of course. But one thing that is we've herited some words, leaders, followers, that are not actually linked to really, we've used it for a long time, Kai, and it's not like guys, girls. So we have that advantage. It might not, so like going saying leader, going by he, etc. We don't have that here. One thing that I agree on is that it's, and with all the respect, it's first a step from the people that feel that they have issues with that, meaning that they feel vulnerable, that they do feel vulnerable. Because to me, I know it might sound stupid, but to me, if I want to be going dancing, I go ask a person, do you want to dance? Whether it's a man or a woman, I don't care. I just ask. And I respect their choices, but I don't let comps, whether leaders are allowed to dance as followers, or followers or women are allowed to dance as leaders. I do not let competition's criterias define what I am allowed to do in my dancing. Do you understand that?
Okay.
What I mean by
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I know it's a very, very delicate, very, very delicate and important, and I don't know much of. I know Phoenix by name, and I know he does a lot of things. A lot of people do a lot of things, but for definitely, as you mentioned, the teachers locally already locally, you welcome people who want to lead on that side, people who want to follow. I don't. It's not men on that side, leaders on. It's people who want to lead today and for that year on that side, people who want to follow, to start following on that side, and that's it. But whether it's men or women, one thing that is, it feels like somehow that now that it's allowed in comps, oh, it's kind of like it's now we have the right to. I'm so sad that I'm so happy that people didn't wait for that to actually make their voice heard and actually do it on social dance floor, and not wait for comps to allow them to be actually, doing it in another role. Because again, the dance comes from it, there's a lot about culture, there's a lot about identity and values and etc. But again, it's people who are in them that can also bring in the criterias and how it is, who is supposed to be dancing with who. Well, I want to be dancing with whoever I want, and as whatever gender I am, and in that role, it's two bodies moving together. That's, to me, that's it. It's two bodies, and we have our preferences, yes, but if you're there to dance, I respect a man who doesn't want to dance with me. I respect it. I don't want to force, but it's not because he says no to me that I'm not going to continue asking another leader if I feel like I want to, another man, sorry, if I feel like wanting to. And most important, it's not the champions or the not the champions, the deciding rules or even event directors that are going to decide if I can dance as a follower, as a leader. When I am down there, I am dancing as a body, as a person wanting to dance and share with somebody else. And this starts with that. And of course, everything that has been done is very important. All the things that everybody has been talking about is very important. But I do agree with Tessa also, it's an individual thing. And it's lovely to see that now people are actually shouting out what they want to have in the community and in that dance, and not let the people ruling and that have done a lot for the dance decide whether they're allowed to do what actually they want as a role in the dance. It's bodies, it's bodies, it's people, it's not gender. And whether you have that outside, it's the same thing. Outside of the dance floor, it's the same thing. So it's people actually wanting to be doing what they want in respect to the person who's in front of you. I know it sounds simple and childish, but to me, I mean, it's just to encourage the people that feel that they can't do it to continue and to dare, and to not take a no as it's because of.
Yeah.
It's because of the gender, or it's because of this, or because of that. I don't know if I. Sorry?
Oh, I'm just asking if I can poke in real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I would love to share that I love that the individual approach is an important place to be living. I would add that the importance of things moving into, say, the competitive structure or the organizational structure, the importance of that is because right now, whether we like it or not, competition is the platform of the dance. It's the leader of the culture of our dance. So the more visibility that we have through the facility of competitions, through visibility, like that's where the visibility of the dance is, and that's where the culture is set. So that's
I
kind of one of the main
understand.
reasons why it's also important to
I totally
create that.
understand what you're saying. I totally understand. But what I just want to make sure is that people don't forget that this is not what defines why we actually necessarily, or the majority necessarily loves this dance. It's not just because of, I mean, I would like people to realize how powerful they are, even if with how they talk about the dance and what they feel. It's not just the visual thing on the platform, because the rest is more the word to mouth, like mouth to mouth, and talking with how they feel, and of course that it's allowed also. You can see that you can do that on YouTube. You can see that you have people of different genders dancing together. It can attract. But honestly, I think that when you talk about it, when you're teaching and you're actually having that as a model to actually say, I don't care what gender you are, you're allowed to be doing whatever you want as a role. That's a powerful mean that is more important to me, I think, than actually what you see in comps.
It's two parts
I
of the
believe
same.
Today.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
Jesse,
this is what is
sorry.
going to impose the rest to the comps. Because it's because more and more people want of that it's changing into the comps too. And people are wording out and doing a great job like you're doing, and the rest of the people are doing. But I understand what you mean. I do agree also.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brody. Jesse,
Thanks,
do you
Jesse.
I want to be able to, I want to yield my time to Tessa and Phoenix to follow up on the overall conversation that we've had, and make space for my education inside of what's going on. Because the question coming out of the overall conversation is, how can we train new dancers, current dancers, in the subconscious mindset of our community? And 4 of the points that have been brought up so far is using the same gender demos and workshops, reverse role dancing, social dancing, and in workshops, normalizing pronouns, and visual standard setting in competitions, in advertisements, in artistic pieces. Are there any other ways that we can help prepare new entries into our community, or current dancers as we all evolve as a community, to continue the degender process and the progressive feminism process inside of what the values that our community holds? Tessa and Phoenix.
I feel like we could expand that to race as well, at least in the United States, where there's so much discussion about race. And the only thing that I can think of, Jesse, and this is something that I don't really know how to do yet, but I feel like we have to bring the dance to the communities we wish to include. If we just stay where we are in our comfort zone, then they will not come to us. They don't know we exist. And somehow we have to find our way to those communities and to those people, and because otherwise we will not diversify. And that's really what I think we're talking about. I think we're talking about the fact that certainly everybody on this panel doesn't just support diversity, craves diversity of gender, of race, of I don't know whether everybody craves political diversity these days, but
yeah, I think we don't want to get too political. Like, definitely not now.
I remember. But so it's I think that's the next stage, is to say, okay, well, where can I go teach? Where can I go on Monday nights? That's not my 99% white middle class suburban city where my studio is located.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that takes intentional effort and ambassadors for. Like, LGBT people, for the most part, don't tend to get into partner dancing in general. It's a very heteronormative activity. So, like, if you look around, if you look in the community and you look at the queer people in the community, think about who those are, right? A lot of them are very notable or very accomplished in the dance, because why do a lot of people join partner dancing? Probably to meet somebody, or, potential of meeting a partner. Why do queer people join the dance? Because we actually like the dance, so a lot of us, we're not there looking for a partner because we don't have options for a partner. So it can be a very daunting thing to get marginalized communities into a partner dance where they don't have very much representation. So yeah, it's absolutely very important to have, intentional outreach, at least for the queer community. Like my goal is to outreach into the queer community and start building something. They have an amazing community in DC where, there's queer people who are part of the mainstream West Coast swing scene, and it's amazing. And I want to create that here in Portland, but it's intentional ambassadorship, I think,
I
as an
love
initiative.
that.
Yeah,
Can
sorry
I
guys, I
follow? Can
think
I ask a follow up on that? Is that okay, Yuval?
I think that we kind of need to start wrapping it up. Justin, how with the time? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I know the conversation is absolutely fantastic at the moment, but I've got to keep an eye on times and I'm aware the audience. Obviously, this is a very interesting subject. Maybe it might be worth just doing a podcast on this very subject and using that very question. I just want to try and keep the audience to as varied as possible. We've got loads of people want to ask questions and we're really running low on time. So sorry to wrap up with an interesting conversation, but Yuval and I will go away with the team and maybe we might open up to having a bigger panel to discuss this subject because it's something that I feel hearing from tonight that we need to discuss. Is that okay with you guys?
I can do that, I suppose.
Tessa, Phoenix, thank you so much for sharing those pieces with us. I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Yuval.
Yeah. Okay. So, Justin, do you want to let Topi go with the next question, or do you want to close it now?
No, we've got Topi on voice. He want to ask something to you guys.
Okay.
So, Topi, if you want to unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hi guys, great discussion. Sorry to end it shortly, but I'm sure we'll get back to it. So my question is, now if you had to decide only one person, you would be social dancing for the next year, which some of us have to do, some of us are not even lucky enough to have that. Who would be the person you would social dance for the until end of this year? And who would you, if you would be able to teach with someone, who would be? You can choose anyone you like. Who would you love to teach with, and who would you like to make a routine with?
Oh, God.
Okay. Wow. Who wants to start? Jesse.
That's
Tessa.
a really
Okay,
easy
go
answer
ahead.
for me, unless Jesse has the answer.
I'm so excited to hear yours. Let's go, Tessa.
Okay, well, the social dance one would be easy. He's here today, and his name is Jesse. I have never had the same dance with this amazing human twice. Each time I dance with him, he's absolutely there with me for whatever that song is. He doesn't leave whatever's going on for him behind. He brings it with him, and that becomes a part of whatever we do that day. And those qualities, along with obviously incredible improvisational and listening skills, make that a no-brainer for me. I would absolutely adore that opportunity. For teaching,
I'm so glad there's no webcam, Tessa. My face is so ugly right now.
For teaching, that would be my teaching mentor, Robert Royston, who I think has brought the science behind the art. And as a brain that really values knowing the why, why do my feet need to do this thing? Why does my back feel this way when I do this thing? I've learned so much from him. And every time I take a class with him, he improves me as a teacher and makes me think of things in a totally different way. So that would be a no-brainer. If I was going to pick somebody to do a routine with, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about routines these days, especially after COVID. But I think if I did it, I would probably want to lead. So somebody out there who's a kick butt follow.
Woo.
Yeah. Browley, do you want to go next?
Can I skip for a second?
Yeah, sure. Jesse?
Please.
I thought I got out of it. You went to Browley. Yeah, but I'm gonna go in reverse order. Okay.
Okay.
If I could do
You
a
can say
routine,
Stephen White, by the way.
if I could do a routine with anyone right now, just for funsies, just to be able to do it, it would be with Jakub.
Mhm.
I think that would be an amazing opportunity. The way that he moves his body is so unique and well trained. I'd get to kinetically be influenced by his body language, as well as be able to pursue different strength mechanics and movement mechanics. I just think it'd be really really cool. So that's who I would fangirl over. If I was going to pick a teaching partner, it had to be for a whole year, and there was no testing opportunity. There was no. I would for sure pick myself. I'm a practiced and developed and well executed, well spoken teacher, and I know that it's strange to protect one's ego inside of an artistic based world like that, but if it's a whole year, I've already made my career off of being a solo teacher. And I've had the opportunity to teach one-off workshops with many people, and those were all incredible opportunities. But my easiest version of it is what I already know how to do. And then on the dancing side of it, I've already been in quarantine for almost a year with Aerial Tech,
Oh.
and we didn't do any dancing. Like
Really?
it
Nothing?
seemed like we would. I'm not kidding. It seemed like we would. We were
But
like,
I
oh, we
saw
finally
your
got.
video. That was amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you. We we really appreciated having something to be able to work on and having the social dances back up in Kansas City again. Now we're dancing, but like I went from 60 hours of dancing every single week, not including the social dancing, just in terms of work and practice, to nothing. And the serotonin dopamine drop in my body from losing that much activity. I mean, the first 2 weeks I was like, yeah, I'm going to just replace it with working out. You can't work out for 60 hours a week. My body was like, hard no. So I was not able to replace that amount of time with something, and the depression was real, and it was heavy, and I want to dance with everybody, but right now I just want to be able to talk with people. I've super much enjoyed being a part of this conversation, so that's kind of my dancing and teaching answer, but hopefully the routine side of it is a saving grace. At least I gave a name for that one.
Yeah, you gave a really interesting one, and we're happy that you're part of this conversation. Phoenix, how about you?
Oh boy, me. Well, I'll keep mine quick and easy. I have been learning to be amazing at enjoying what I have. So I've been very lucky that one of my dance partners, Austin, is here. He's a Lindy Hopper. So dancing with one person through the pandemic, I'm already doing it, and I'm really enjoying dancing with Austin. As far as routines, yeah, I mean, you kind of dropped the ultimate answer there with Jakub. I'm like, yeah, Jakub would really vibe. It's really fun. I love dancing with Jakub.
Right though,
Magical.
for a routine,
Like,
come on.
I will just go into magical movement spaces with him. It's fantastic. I love it. And yeah, but I've also way back in my early days, and I think like it would be a decent pairing is I would go for John or Sean McKeever. He's a nice height. He's tall, and like his connection and mind vibe.
Yeah. Cool, great. Larisa, how about you?
Hey, all right. I would probably go in a very different direction than the rest of you guys. If I could pick someone for a routine, God, I would take like Michael Kim or Jason Calcino or Wayne Bott. Like I would pick one of our greats and do that for a year. Like that would be mind blowing and just a whole different side of this dance that we don't get to enjoy as much anymore.
I wanted to
Um,
ask if we could include dead people, but I'm glad you did.
Dang.
Oh, Tessa.
Well,
yeah,
one way to
that
put
would
it.
just be anything. Hmm?
Yeah, so that was one way to put it. Yeah, go ahead, Larisa, sorry.
Oh, let's see. So that would be if I could do routine. For teaching for a year, I would probably pick Brandy. She's my main coach for the last decade and an amazing friend and mentor. And a year of being able to shadow her in everything, not just me like creeping on her while she's teaching at Starlight, but like legit getting to be like, I'm going to follow you everywhere and you can't say no. I would kill for that. That would be great. Yeah, that would be amazing. As far as who I want to dance with, I would say my emotional answer is Angel because I miss him. Yeah, from just a purely like miss this human, miss how he dances and how he hears the music and just his wonderful smiling face. And yeah, I'd probably say Angel.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Brawley, now you
Yeah.
cannot escape.
No, I wasn't trying. I was just so routine wise, most of you don't know me. I've done only one in my whole small career, if you can call it a career. So I've only done one. It was with Irina from Russia, and I loved it. But I'm not in this dance, and I'm not in dancing for routines. If I have to choose, probably the person I would at the moment want to is simply somebody I love dancing with, which is Inga from Latvia. Because yeah, simply. Teaching wise, I've been used to teach a lot alone, and I've loved most of the experience I've had teaching with other people as well. And at the moment, the one I want to be teaching with more often is also Inga. Now, if I was in a lockdown and I had to choose someone, honestly, this is a problem because I would not choose Inga because actually I want to have everybody. I want to be dancing with everybody for different reasons because this have been all the people I've been dancing on the dance floor have been my best teachers. All the I've learned, and I am who I am because of all the people that have given time dancing with me, whatever the level.
Yes.
And these were, I'm sorry, but these were my best teachers, and they have made me who I am. So to choose one would go into something where I go in one habit, and I don't want that because we're all different. And this dancing with, we've been talking about gender, variety, whatever other. It's dancing with people, different people, and I would take without a doubt because it brings me different cultures, different ways of leading and following, different ways of talking, of exchanging. So I cannot actually choose one person. I'm sorry, but the question was great, but I'm sorry. And also because it means that it means that it's not going to be possible because the pandemic hopefully is going to stop at one point. And so I don't even want to think about that. And I'd rather, well, use that time to then dance alone and just move, and that's it.
Oh, yeah, probably you always drop the the bombs here. That like, thank you for that. That was awesome.
Most welcome.
We're going to our last question now, our finishing question. That's our tradition here on those Q&As, where I ask you to pick a memory that you have from each other. Share a memory that you have from anyone else or from all the others. Whatever you choose, share it with us. Who wants to start?
I'll
could
go
take-
first. I'll
Yeah,
go
do it.
first if you don't mind, because
Yeah.
as I said yesterday, I'm actually the one who knows the less people among. So and hopefully I'll get to meet all of you. So I've seen wonderful videos of Jesse in his routines. Phoenix, what you give out there is just it's you feel you can feel that you're happy and you're just doing your thing, and you are passionate about what you're doing. So that I love. Tessa, I think we've met once. It was a long time ago.
I was a
Um,
very, very baby dancer at Budapest.
just as I am even today. So, and I remember that at least that joy that you had when we danced, and that humbleness. I appreciate that craziness, definitely. Um, and even today, I mean, just that authenticity that you could see in your dance, actress also, but all of that in a humble way. So I very much remember that. Uh, Larisa, I think we also danced once in the States a long, long, long time ago. And that shyness and that, well, I've seen you evolve also into that world, and I've loved dancing with you, and I've loved also watching your routines. Especially, yeah, the ones where I don't remember the names. I suck with names, but I like what you give out there, and your professionalism as well, and seeing how much you get closer and closer to who you are, if I may say, with with all the respect and with what I feel. So this is. I hope I haven't missed anyone, because I'm just a bit. No, I haven't. See, that's it. Next.
Thank you, Browley. Thank you very much. Who wants to be next?
If it's all right, I will.
Okay.
Okay. So then, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The as much as I've enjoyed the dances I've had with Tessa, with Larisa, and with Phoenix, and I'm not gonna lie, like going and researching your dances just a little bit, Browley, today, like making sure I know who you are. Which you had one really cool moment where the follower's interpretation of your left slide pass adjusted your pattern and changed the movement, and new slot it was. You went right with her on it, and I commend you for the interaction with your followers' dance language. So it's fantastic to see those things, and I love those memories. But this conversation is definitely my favorite memory with all of you, because
Oh, wow.
it's a people-based memory.
Nice.
I feel like I know you guys better. I've learned from the conversation, and I really appreciate getting to share the time with you guys. So thank you for doing this today and being here. This is my new favorite memory, hands down, for sure.
Wow, thank you so much, Jesse. Wow.
Thanks very much,
No
Jesse. We
problem.
really
Thanks.
appreciate that.
It's nice.
Wow. Tessa, do you want to add? Want to share your memory?
Sure. I'm gonna go for a twofer, a memory that includes both Larisa and Phoenix. But
Okay.
I'll say first that Larisa, one of the things that makes her the best competition DJ ever is that she remembers who the dancers are, and she picks songs that bring them to life. And my memory is one of the last memories I have before shutdown, which was Swing Vester 2019 into 2020, when Larisa was playing the music and chose the most perfect song for Phoenix to dance to. Phoenix, what is it? Something nails hips. Crap, I can't say
That
it.
was Justin that did that one.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
Justin.
Is it Justin? Oh crap.
Yes,
Well, there you go.
you
I've
stole
built
the
Larisa
credit
for
from
the next song.
He was living.
But anyway, so then that just like that, I watched that in my head over and over again as just the perfect expression. And Larisa, I'll pick one specifically that you played for me. I was dancing at a Rose City, and Drew, a dancer who loves old school traditional foxtrotty jazz. And you played Fly Me to the Moon for us, and it was just the coolest thing ever. And you made me feel like I was the best dancer, and I can't ask for anything better from a comp DJ. So thank you.
Can I just jump in and just give credit to Larisa? If you watch the video, Larisa does all the moves in the background, just under the projection screen. You see Larisa dancing it all. And to be fair to Larisa as well, when we did the champion sort of pro show at Swing Vesta, she picked the music and it was absolutely killer. So credit to her in both those things. Watch out from the background and watch
I love that I managed to get 3 of you in one memory.
Anyway, I'll shut up now.
Yeah. Okay. So, Phoenix, here's to you.
Oh my gosh, so many memories. I'm actually very introverted, so I have very few non-dance floor memories of a lot of people. But I just, I love dancing with Jesse. It's so much fun. You always find me at every convention at some point or another and just ask me for that dance and we just vibe and have fun. Like that's always a highlight when I am out and about on the circuit. Tessa, I just love that you're such an attentive learner in workshops. I'm always remembering that you're always, asking questions and like getting those hard-hitting ones all the time.
Being
That's
a
one
pain in the butt? Is that what you mean?
Well, yes, that too, but you're a lovable pain in the butt. And yeah, admittedly, Bradley, I haven't met you yet, really. I don't think. Maybe we've passed each other somewhere, but
Yeah, maybe, but
we'll
Can't
run
wait
into
for
each
it.
other someday. We'll make some memories.
Definitely hope that. Hope for that.
Yeah, but Larisa, for me, I just love that we always have a commentary going. It's the best. Like we're always watching drag race stuff together. And I remember at Atlanta, we watched the finale together, which was amazing. So I was like, yay, we were hanging out. It was awesome. I was living. It was a great time.
Thank you.
Did I get everybody? Did I forget somebody? Oh my God, I'm terrible.
You got everyone. Larisa, on to you.
Hi. Okay. Let's see. I guess I'm kind of like one of you just said you have a lot of memories like outside of dancing. That's kind of where my brain usually lives too. So let me think for a second. Well, first off, Broly, you mentioned that we met. So we've met once. I believe it was Swing Diego in 2015. It was the Sunday night or the Monday night dance back when Swing Diego was a 6-day thing. Yes, we had like 2 dances. And I remember someone telling me like, oh, he's really good. And I'm like, okay, I'm really scared. I was, very shy. And I went and danced and we had a great dance. And then I walked back over to my friend and I was like, yeah, that was really scary, but it was really fun. So that's the memory I have of us.
Yeah. And I recall that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like for like Phoenix and Tessa and Jesse, like you guys, like I've seen you so much at dance events. Like I just remember like little moments in the green rooms, when we're about to go compete where, you guys always like Jesse, you always have something really positive and encouraging to say, or like you watch everybody's performance and you're always there to be like, hey, that was fucking awesome. Like that stuff really matters. So like I really appreciate that about you. Like that's awesome. And then like Tessa, you're always the same way. Tessa, you and I go way back as friends. So like we have a whole separate thing. But when it comes
thing, girl. I don't even
a
know
whole
if you
thing,
can put us
girl.
in one container.
You and me and cheese fries on a Sunday night at a dance event. We got it going on. Yes.
Denny's!
Yes. Damn straight. But like as in a dance setting, like you and I always have really great discussions about stuff. You always will live in a technical place with me. You'll always like sit around and talk about like how our big toe like pushes against the ground, like on a 1. Like, will go there with me, and I love that kind of stuff. I love people who want to just live in like dance geek land for a while, and you and I always have really great discussions, sometimes over cheese fries at Denny's.
That
Yeah.
might be the best balance of those things, right?
I agree. Yeah.
Love you.
And then Phoenix,
I miss you.
I love you, girl. I miss you too.
Aw.
I
Aw.
miss you.
Phoenix, you're my girl. I love you. Like, also Simone won. Are you excited? I'm excited.
Spoilers for people. Be careful.
Oh, I don't care. It's been on social media for a day. Get over it. Sorry,
Hey, we're
everybody.
understanding what I'm saying post Rose City drag show
Oh, so good.
is the best. Living our best lives.
It's the best. We're fabulous bitches.
We are. We're amazing.
Thank you so much for that. Really, thank you all. And we're gonna wrap up now. Thank you so much. That was an amazing experience for me, and like seeing everyone staying here with us and joining, like so many people watching us. That was awesome. You guys gave value to so many people today. So thank you so much for that. I really enjoyed our conversation. Tessa, Jesse, Larisa, Rowley, Phoenix, thank you so much. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Topi, Andy, Krisha, everyone on the team.
Can I say one last little tiny thing?
Definitely,
can.
yeah.
I know a lot of us are sort of maxed out on Facebook as far as new friends, and wonderful things like this often precipitate people to friend request, and then they get frustrated when they're like, this person has too many friends. So if you want to get in touch with any of us, I know that there's a place to see where our information is located. But you can also just try sending a message. Don't expect a friend request to be enough to initiate a conversation, at least with myself.
Thank you for that clarification. Yeah, for sure. Justin, on to you.
Yeah, so before you finish, Topi just wants to give a quick message about a little social taking place right after this Q&A. Topi, do you want to unmute yourself and just tell us what's going on after this quickly?
Sure, like it's nothing special. It's just people hanging out, getting to know each other better, hearing what's happening in our lives, talking. I'm not sure if you still remember how to do it, like socialize, hang out with people, but in Discord settings,
Topi.
with cams or not.
So thank you, Topi, and now it's time to say goodbye. So let's do this all in order. Huge thanks to our moderation team. Without these guys, literally this whole thing falls apart. So Andreas, he's done all the streaming today. We've been going on YouTube and Facebook. Topi, I know, has been assisting some of the West Coast Swing guys with their mics, their technology. Without Topi, he knows Discord better than Yuval and I will ever know. Mention to, for sure. Topi's a star. And our new addition, Krisha, welcome to the server. We're obviously trying to balance out how many people we have across the globe, and Krisha just joined us on the moderating team. Krisha's been actually talking to everyone, and I think she's just been chatting to Stephen White, who's popped in to say hello as well. Our question master, the Wowo West himself, holding this all together, Mr. Yuval Yaary. And of course, none of this would be possible with our awesome West Coast Swing dancers. Take a bow, Browley, Larisa, Phoenix, Tessa, and Jesse.
Woo.
It was an amazing bow.
Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you so much, everyone. Really.
Save me dances.
Thank you very much for your time, insights, advice, memories, and stories, and possible ideas for future episodes tonight, today, afternoon, or whatever time zone you're in. I think Larisa's in Israel, Phoenix is in Oregon, Tessa's on the East Coast, Jesse somewhere in the Midwest, Browley's in Russia, I believe. So there's all crazy stuff going on with time zones.
Unfortunately not, but
fortunately not.
He's in France now.
Unfortunately,
He's in France.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately not.
But my heart is there today.
And there you are. If you're listening to Russian Open, his heart is there with you today. We've had so many questions. I've got a list of 40 left, so we're going to bring them on to the next Q&As, but we don't have the time to answer them, so we'll save them for next time. But one final and huge thank you, and that's to you for listening. This Discord and the audience that participate in everything on or in here. You are the real stars. We do this for you, and this server is for you. And we can only do this every month because these dancers want to connect with you. And as you heard from Tessa and all the other pros, and the pros before this that have taken part, when PJ gets lost and can't find a Discord, so you can connect with each other. So good night, stay safe, and we'll all hope to see you on the dance floor soon. We'll have a 1-song break, then you've got Topi's kind of cool down social after as well. So say goodbye, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao, arrivederci.
See you later, everyone.
Adios, my friends.
Bye.
Take care. Stay safe.